Everyone, and I hope everyone's doing great. So, I haven't posted in a while. I've got some really cool UFO, like more UFO stuff that I want to post. So, I'll be doing that shortly. Plus, I was sick for a while. Plus, I've been kind of busy. But, anyways, I hope everyone's doing great. So, really appreciate you watching and, yeah, having a great year. And it's crazy, but, year's almost over. And speaking of which, that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about. Usually I do like stuff about whatever spirituality and existentialism or philosophy or just like all that kind of stuff revolving existence, really, in reality. But I do leave room for a little bit of other stuff because why not? But and in this case, it's election year, and we've got a pretty big election coming up here in the United States, and it's pretty historic. And I was just watching something the other day, and I figured it'd be funny to talk about it. So the choices, of course, are down to Donald Trump again and Kamala Harris. So I usually say Kamala, and that's actually the point of my video. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on this, and I was like, this is kind of funny. I kind of want to share this. Um, because there's been kind of like, how do you say her name? For years since I've heard of her first, it's always been, oh yeah, that's Kamala Harris. And then, as she gets closer to the White House, it's like, no, 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 it's Kamala. You have to say it right. And then I thought about it for a while, and I was like, well, do I? Like, do I have to say it right? And let me just start out by saying I don't like her, and I don't like Donald Trump either. So there's a lot of things I don't like about either one of them, and neither one of them are fit leaders for our country. That's my opinion. I'm voting for the party, not the person. I don't like either one of them. So just we need somebody strong and charismatic and intelligent, consistent with honesty and integrity, and neither one of them has it. Who speaks with conviction, and passion, and who doesn't lie. That's saying a lot from any politician. That's asking a lot, but whatever. And just neither one of them just have a very redeemable list of good qualities. And I think both sides are kind of worked up by a variety of things, by their base. Donald Trump for a variety of reasons and issues, and Kamala Harris for being, the first woman candidate, and well, Hillary Clinton, she got pretty close, but the first, the next possible first woman and woman of color and all that. So, but really, for me, anyways, personally, it's just like, where do they stand? It's a party vote, but the person in power must be smart and bipartisan and able to speak to the people and with, like I said, intelligence and passion and power. And Donald Trump is just not intelligent, and he doesn't. He lies all the time. But so do the Democrats and Joe Biden, and they lie and they spin things too. So, anyways, I'm voting for the party that I feel is going to be best for the country. I just wanted to preface that I'm voting on policy, not on the person. Because if that were the case, I wouldn't be voting at all. But either way, so back to the name thing. And usually it's like, I just thought it was an interesting thought to kind of talk about and maybe get you guys thinking or get people thinking and see what your thoughts are too. Because sometimes, I get it. There's a certain way to say things. And I guess the question I first asked myself was, well, why do I have to pronounce it? And it takes some time, and sure, I'll make an effort, maybe, but like every time I see her name, it's Kamala or Kamala. That's just how I kind of pronounce that. So if I can make that adjustment, say Kamala, I'll do that. But I'm not going to do that in every single case because then where do we draw the line? It's like, because I was thinking otherwise we'd be busy telling each other how to talk all the time, if you think about it. And people may argue, well, it's disrespectful if you don't pronounce her name wrong or if you don't say this. Like, not really. It's disrespectful to who? What if you have an accent from somewhere and you just simply pronounce the word differently? Like, say you're from a Spanish-speaking country and you say, Kamala, because that's how you talk. Or someone from Britain would say Kamala, oh yes, it's Kamala Harris, or like however they talk. There's different accents in different parts of the United States too. Like if I meet someone from the South, and I'm from Washington State, by the way, in the United States. So, if I meet someone and they're like, oh yeah, you're from Washington, because that's how they talk. I don't tell them, no, it's Washington. I don't correct them every single time. And guess what? I'm probably not saying it right either. Because remember, the original Americans came from a variety of places, but from England. A lot of them came from England. So, English people don't, our own accent developed into an American accent. So you don't hear English people, like if, for example, if I'm like, oh, I'm hungry, I want a cheeseburger, and I'm with an English friend, they're like, no, that's not how you say it. You say, oh, I'm hungry, I want a cheeseburger. And they're like, no, I'm not going to say it like that. Like, why? That's not how I talk. And then it's not the other way around. It's like, if they say it that way, I'm not going to say, like, no, it's, I want a cheeseburger. I'm not going to say that, And then we've got, because people have accents and different ways of pronouncing words, and that's as simple as it gets, because our language came from the English language. Now we just have a different way of pronouncing it. So it's like, because I have a Mexican friend, and every time I say jalapeno or jalapeno, she gets mad at me. This is true. She's like, oh, God, Jerry, it's jalapeno, she tells me. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, whatever, So I'm not and the funny thing is, she talks like I do. She was born here and she speaks just like this, but when it comes to words pronounced in Spanish, more specifically Mexican Spanish, she usually just like is all over my case about it. That's not how you say taco or burrito or jalapeno. And I'm like, well, it's how I say it, So it's kind of ironic or a little bit funny or almost hypocritical because her accent sounds like mine, but only in certain words she'll tell me, this is how you say it. I was like, well, I don't speak with this Mexican Spanish accent because I was born here. So I'm not going to research every single word in the human language and pronounce it based on its original pronunciation. That's just ridiculous. Like, I just talk how I talk at a certain point, Because you could argue that it's like, oh, we should all be talking English because originally that's how they pronounce the words. It's like, no, this is not how we talk now, plain and simple. And even their accent came from somewhere. English developed from, I think, German, an ancient form of Germanic, before it became Old English, which sounds nothing like actual English. And then now we speak American English, And Jamaicans have one of the coolest accents on earth, I think. They speak patois, a version of English with accents and how to pronounce things, And it's just like, where do we draw the line between what's disrespectful or not? It's... just let people talk how they talk, and people aren't trying to be disrespectful sometimes, and we can't, for example, just do that with everything. We're not going to get anywhere. Just let people speak. Like here in America, here's another good example, right? It's because I guarantee people who might correct you, and I've seen it and heard it, but people are like, it's Kamala, that's how you say it, like, Jesus Christ. So like, I guarantee, like, if you ask them about Connecticut is one of the 50 states here. Do they pronounce the C? I don't. It's actually spelled Connecticut, and it's based on a Native American word, for example. I don't even know, maybe the C is silent, but I'll bet you we don't pronounce Connecticut or Kentucky like the Native Americans pronounce. These are, I think, or Mississippi, eventually we don't have the right pronunciation or the accent. I think these are all originally American words. Or we don't have the accent on the right vowel or whatever, But that's how we say it. Like, I guarantee you the same people who are kind of getting in an uproar about how to say her name say Connecticut or Kentucky. And they don't put like I said, they don't pronounce it like it was originally pronounced. So is that disrespectful? No. No, it's not. So people just get a little bit too sensitive when it comes to pronouncing words, and there's really no disrespect intended. I'd say like 90% of the time people don't mean anything. Sure, you're going to have, it's not 100%. There's not going to be people who might try to say it wrong just to like push your buttons. Of course, but overall, it's just people have different accents, and I'm not going to tell people from New York, how to say my name. For example, different place, like my name is Jerry, for example. It's just how I say it, and someone from New York might be like, Jerry. They have a little bit of an extra accent. I love the East Coast accent too. Or someone from the South might be like, Jerry. I've heard that before too, where it's kind of like they slur it. It's a very sleepy accent, and it's cool too. I like the Texas accent most probably, but I'm not like, no, it's Jerry. It's Jerry. Or if I have a lot of friends that speak other languages or were born in other countries. And if they roll my R, like, oh, hey, Jerry, how's it going? I'm not like, it's Jerry. That's so disrespectful. No, So I don't. It's actually kind of cool. So I think people who get upset over that kind of thing are just too caught up in emotions for whatever reason. Whatever reason. They just have to take offense to that kind of thing. Maybe because they're more invested in something. But there's really no reason to. If you think about it in daily language, we don't just sit here and correct each other or say, is that how the original country said it? Or how are you supposed to pronounce it? It's like, no. We'd spend like half our times trying to figure out how to say things properly. And what's ironic about that? It would change the entire way that our language sounds in the process. So things evolve and people need to relax. One final note, it's like people, like here's another good example. Because I've had people tell me this too. Like people tell me, that's not how you say that word. But they'll do the same thing and I'll call them on it. So like that's not how you say, that word in Spanish, or I'm like, really? But then, next week they're talking about, I'm going on my vacation to Hawaii. And I'm like, I'll be like, ooh, that's not how you say it. That's not how you say it. That's so disrespectful. So I'm one of those guys. I'm the 10% who I'll push your buttons sometimes. I'm not going to lie. If I catch you doing something that you tell me not to do, it doesn't make any sense. Because that's how I say it. I say Hawaii. And, but that's not how they say it over there. Actually, they have a whole other accent. And of course it's based on the language, but the W is pronounced like a V. And there's what is called an okina, which looks like a comma, but it's in the air. It's not on the ground. If you look it up, you see what I mean. Apostrophe, that's the word I'm looking for. So it's HAWAI apostrophe I, and that creates a stutter between the two I's. So it's HAWAII. So it's actually Hawaii. So then you kind of bring the first I to a stop, and you say it again, Hawaii. So you like actually pronounce both I's. But in the original language, it's with the V. It's spelled with the W for us. So it's actually Hawaii. And then you hear them say that, like if you watch the news, they'll do one or the other. They'll use the V or the W. It's interchangeable. But it's funny, because, I hear people who correct me on whatever they correct me on do the exact same thing. And it's just like, I think overall people just need to relax and not be so nitpicky. But it's funny when this kind of stuff comes up, and it creates a learning moment, and I think it's great. And it's better to just be aware of the diversity of language and the peoples who use it, and accents included. And I think it's a cool thing, and I think it's a great thing. And there's no wrong way to say something. You either sound like a native speaker or you don't. And the native speaker may not even be saying it right where they're from, because their country has accents too. So really it's just like when you hear someone say a word where you think it's being said wrong, whatever it is, just look at it with humor and a sense of awareness, and don't take offense to it, and see it as kind of a thing of beauty, of diversity and evolution, and the evolution of language itself over time, and not something to get pissed off at for no reason whatsoever. Anyways, I just thought that was really funny, and I wanted to share that. Food for thought. See, I don't know, what are you guys, what are your thoughts on that kind of thing? But, well, there you have it. And thanks again for watching. And let me know what you think in the comments. Because I love this sort of thing, dialogue and, different perspectives. And I just found it humorous but enlightening at the same time. So, well, thanks again. I really mean it. So please take care, and we'll see you later.